Introducing God's Learning Channel's brand new Amazon bookstore, your gateway to a world of wisdom and faith. Our Amazon bookstore offers a remarkable collection of dozens of hand-picked items, carefully curated to enrich your spiritual journey. From a wide selection of traditional Christian and Jewish Bibles to Judaica treasures, biblical holiday merchandise, and even beautiful jewelry. Our Amazon bookstore has it all. Conveniently shop from the comfort of your own home at any time. Just visit our website or stop by our online bookstore. Or better yet, simply find us on Amazon to embark on a transformative shopping experience. New items are added regularly, so remember to always check back. Shop now and embrace the blessings that await you.
Hi friends, we at GLC would like to take a quick moment to thank you for watching our programs on this platform, and we'd like to ask you for a little favor. Would you please go beneath this video and click the subscribe button? Did you know that by simply subscribing to the GLC YouTube channel, you can help us financially support the programs on this platform? You'll need to be signed into YouTube beforehand. But if not, simply click the subscribe button and YouTube will automatically walk you through the steps to sign in or to create an account. By taking these simple steps, you will not only ensure that you continue to receive our unique programming and gain instant access to the hundreds of videos we post, but more importantly, you'll also be telling YouTube that GLC's content is worth watching and promoting. Likewise, if you enjoyed a specific program, please click the thumbs up button below, which also helps inform YouTube that this is a program worth recommending. Finally, once you have logged in and subscribed, please click the notification bell below in order to receive announcements when we post new content. As usual, feel free to post your questions and comments in the comments section below. We always love hearing from our friends and viewers. Again, thank you for watching and supporting God's Learning Channel. We couldn't spread the message of the gospel without you. Be blessed, and we hope you enjoy the show. Folks, very special, as goes Israel, so goes the world, and Word on the Street combined, what you're watching right now. You've seen him before. He's the founder of the Bible Block Party, author, speaker, GLC favorite. To know him is to love him. It's my favorite Israeli, my favorite Jew. Hey, Jew. It's Avi Lipkin. How you doing, Avi?
Always terrific to see you on the screen. And just remember, I am living proof that ham is kosher. Because
yes,
I
you are.
Ham it up in front of the camera.
Yes, you are, my man. Yes, you are. Now, Avi, as we were getting ready to film, what do you call it these days? Film, tape? It's all digital capture. Who knows? But as we were getting ready to, you were talking about the fact that you learned a lot about history from stamp collecting, and I find that intriguing. I think that's worthy of a mention right now. And I know you're a Sovietologist, but you learned a lot of history from stamp collecting?
Absolutely. And, you know, I have to tell you that I don't know if you caught what I said before on the air, but my father, when he was a young boy in Argentina, so we're talking about 1934, 1935, just as Hitler came to power.
Wow.
But they were still using the old stamps of Germany.
Right.
And at that time, there was a terrible inflation in Germany, which was brought about as a result of the Versailles Accords after World War I. Germany was being punished for World War I. And so the stamps, the economy went crazy, and there was a terrible inflation. And you watch the stamps going from thousands to millions to billions of marks, German marks.
Wow. And
well, one of the things, you know, that was interesting, and one of the pros that I have in stamp collecting is that English is my mother tongue. And so my father bought me Scott stamp catalogs, which give you basically the history of each stamp and the value of each stamp. And so I would study, I would enjoy, but I'd be studying every stamp, the history of the stamp, the history of the country, things that were going on. And to give you just a little example of what happened, when I was in 6th grade, what is sixth grade? I was 11.
Right,
And
right.
the teacher asked the class who was the last leader of Germany before Hitler. And my hand went up because I knew it was von Hindenburg. Von Hindenburg was a great hero in German World War I and the history of Germany. And of course, after he died, Hitler took over.
Right.
But I knew it was von Hindenburg. Nobody else in the class had a clue because probably nobody else in the class had a father who worked in a German bank in Argentina and knew exactly, the history of Germany. And that's from Argentina. And but at some stage, as you probably know, people started coming to work with Nazi swastika armbands and revolvers. And they said to my father, Lipkin, you're a Jew, you probably need to quit. And so my father quit the Deutsche Bank, Bank of Germany, and he went to work in Bank of Boston in Argentina.
Wow.
And then what happened was my father ended up working in the import-export division, the bank documentation for import-export. And so he worked in this for 15 years. And then because of his American birthright, American passport, my father was born in America on the way to Argentina. And so he and my mom decided to emigrate to the States. They came to the States. And my father immediately went to work in export of United States made auto parts to Argentina because he knew all the people. He knew all the documents that he was doing. And, his bosses promised him a commission in addition to the salary. And then they reneged. So my father said, if you renege, you don't pay me what you promised, I'll leave. He said, okay, leave. So he left. He took all the business with him. Wow. And that's how my father became established as a businessman in New York. But the point is, there was always bundles and bundles of envelopes with stamps on them from Argentina. And so I would take scissors, cut around the stamps, put them in water, detach the stamps from the paper after putting them in water. I have a crazy stamp collection. I mean, but the thing is, every stamp I got, I know every stamp in my collection. I know the history of the stamps. I know the value of the stamps. And you know what? There's some people who spend millions of dollars to buy, portraits and paintings, and stamps are works of art. I mean, some are just ugly, but there are stamps that are works of art. And you develop an artistic sense when you're collecting stamps. So you know history, you know the economies, you know the artwork involved. I mean, stamps, the thing is, nobody collects stamps anymore. And my grandkids, I tried to get them interested, and they said, that's for dinosaurs. I said, but you know what? You are foreclosing on your own possibilities to learn about world history. And I want you to know, I hate to say a lot of my education comes from my stamp collection and also my coin collections. I have coins from all over the world. And they're not worth anything, but my father would travel, empty out his pockets when he would come back from South America. And I had from Chile, Argentina, Brazil, Colombia. And later, in high school, people would trade. I'd give them stuff. There was one guy, he was not a stamp collector. He Sky and Telescope magazine. He was an astronomy freak. He had a whole bunch of coins. He gave me his coins. He didn't want them. I gave him all my Sky and Telescope magazines because I didn't want them. And I found the coin from 1563 from Poland.
Wow.
It's not worth very much. Again, these are not valuable as far as money is concerned, but they're valuable as far as sentiment and discovering the whole world. Anyway, sorry to waste your time with this.
No, not a waste at all. Folks, you're familiar with seeing Avi and giving a boots on the ground account of what's happened in Israel. We're going to get to that. But I just thought it was intriguing, Avi, of all the ways that you have learned that have made you who you are, that it was with stamps too. Your stamps may be more valuable. Again, folks, you may be relying more on the mail than ever in coming months. Things that you've taken for granted may become important to you again. And we'll just leave it at that. You know what? Can I add something? Yes.
A very interesting story. when I was a young kid preparing for my bar mitzvah at age 13, I was trading stamps with kids in my Hebrew class, and my teacher caught me trading stamps in the Hebrew class. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be paying attention to the teacher. And she came over to my desk to let me see the stamps. And there was one stamp there from April 1962. I was 13 years old. And it was the Battle of Shiloh from the Civil War. And my teacher, very smart teacher, she said, you know what, there's a Shiloh in the Bible. There's a Shiloh in Israel. So she did the whole class about Shiloh in the Bible.
Wow.
And so we said to her, where is it? And she said, we don't know. Because in 1962, it was still part of Jordan, and it was under the ground. It had not been archaeologically uncovered. And so because I was talking about stamps and stamp collecting, this is in Oklahoma City, I came back to Oklahoma City a year later. You know, people don't forget me so fast. And the guy came to me with a little carton, a little box full of dust. It was like my wife would have a nervous breakdown looking at this. You just touch it, starts the dust coming out. And he said he was at a what do you call it, at a garage sale. And he picked it up for $25.
Wow.
He picked it up for me, just as a gift. And so, you know, I started going through it. By the way, I have it here in the drawer. And there was a page with 7 Confederate stamps, you know, from the Confederacy. Those stamps are not worth so much, a few dollars each. But for me, they are worth everything in the world, because all my life, I had a dream to have stamps from the South of the United States, from the Confederacy. And you know what? If you're a stamp collector, things like this make you very excited. Anyway, so, but the thing is, because I was talking about Shiloh in the Bible and the Battle of Shiloh in the Civil War, this guy got me these stamps. Anyway, little stories that happened to me while I'm traveling, you know.
I love it. Well, so when I see you next, I can bring you a box from a garage sale or an auction or something, and you'll appreciate its value. There's hidden treasures, most likely, in some of those things. And
by the way, another story. When I went through the box very carefully, I found correspondence of the soldier, the United States soldier, who was stationed in Japan and China. And these stamps belonged to him in the 1940s. He had them shipped to the United States. Probably he died and nobody was ever interested in touching it. So those stamps are probably sitting around for 60 years. But the thing is, I felt bad looking at the history of this American soldier that I couldn't talk to him and hear about his exploits in the U.S. military. He was a survivor. You know, he survived World War II. And he came back to the United States. A soldier from Oklahoma. And every stamp collection has a story behind it. So I'm just saying, one of the reasons that I lecture in churches today is because I have this global world vision, which I got thanks to stamp collecting, which you don't really get if you don't know anything about stamps. It's called philately. Philately is stamp collecting, and numismatics is coin collecting. Coins also. I've got thousands of coins. They're not worth anything, but you know, they're just simple currency coins, which because of devaluations, you know, they're not worth anything, but it's great to have them and look at them. I try to teach my grandkids. Nobody's interested. We're going to, my grandson, I went with him somewhere. He had his credit card, a 16-year-old kid. He said, oh, no, we don't need cash. We're in the cashless society. So
I'll tell you what.
And they don't say it out of meanness. They say it out of ignorance.
Yeah, that's where things are going. You know, during COVID, the Walmart started punishing you for using cash. You must go to the long lines if you will use that evil cash. And I noticed at the same time, all these tracking cameras, face recognition, all kinds of things were rolled out during the Big C when we were told to be inside.
Not so fast. The masks are coming back.
They're not coming back for me.
Not for me either. Also, I had 3 vaccines or 2 vaccines. I'm never getting a vaccine again.
Well, you know, Gates relished the fact that, this next one, with a smile, he says, will really get people's attention. You know, of course, he should be tried for war crimes, depopulation in Africa. People don't read their history. They don't understand that he's related to the same Gates during the Spanish flu. How about that? And the list goes on, folks. It's not conspiracy anymore. It's just evil people in a world that God is in control. Evil people. Do your homework. Read up on Agenda 2030 or Agenda 2050. You'll really see along the lines of discussing Germany and Nazis and such. Klaus Schwab is a Nazi and founder of the World Economic Forum that's wanting to roll out all these mandates for you folks. And this the legislation signed by the Biden administration to give away all of your freedoms and rights under the World Health Organization. It's very, very interesting. It reads like a science fiction novel, like a horror movie. But it's the truth. But it's your job to think and to strive and survive and not be a sheeple. And you're not one, Avi. I'm not one either. I've been saying the same thing since the 90s on radio and on television. And all of a sudden, Mr. Brent doesn't look as crazy anymore. But all you have to do is read your Bible, folks, and have some common sense. No offense, but it is what it is. And I pray that wisdom does not elude you. Well, boots on the ground with Israel right now. You mentioned that as of today, the filming of this show, that Netanyahu landed in the United States. I wonder what he's thinking between the nap times and ice cream times and a jelly hour, with our geriatric president, Joe Biden. What's the skinny there? What's the purpose of this trip?
Well, firstly, as you probably know, I don't know if they mentioned it in your news at all, but the United Nations is having its yearly festival there, and world leaders are invited to come and speak. And every year Netanyahu goes and he speaks. And of course, the game is sold out against Israel, and you have all these former communists, and also you have the Muslim countries voting against Israel. And you've got other countries which kowtow to the Islamic oil and the petrodollar. And so there's an automatic majority against Israel in the United Nations. But Netanyahu goes and gives an excellent speech, and there are those people who listen. One of the interesting things is that, again, I don't know how much you and your followers know about the situation in Israel. There is a protest movement which is paid for by, people in the Israeli elites who want to destroy the democracy in Israel. And they say that Netanyahu wants to destroy the democracy, but Netanyahu is doing everything he can to fix the situation in Israel to preserve democracy. But the people want to destroy democracy, have this lie, and they have lots of money to send people into the streets for protests. So Netanyahu is dealing with that. And what a lot of these, I hate to say the word communist, but what these, anti-government people are is communist socialists.
Well, they are, and most of them don't know half of them don't know what they're protesting. They're just paying that $200 given that lead pipe by Soros.
They don't know. But the point is that they promised to burn the house down. Israeli Jews who are going to burn the house down in order to spite Netanyahu. And they said they were going to wreck the economy, wreck the Israeli currency. And what has happened is the Israeli currency temporarily went down, but the vital economic data is very positive. So the shekel keeps coming back, the Israeli money. And what Netanyahu actually is doing today, he's not stopping in New York. He's going straight to, I think it's Los Angeles or San Francisco, where Elon Musk is. And Elon Musk and Netanyahu have a planned meeting. And, Elon Musk, forget about is he a good man or a bad man, but this guy took over Twitter. He got Trump back onto Twitter. He has Tesla factories in China and in India. He's coming out now with a smartwatch, and which I think they say is going to take over America. And I think that Netanyahu is going to make a deal with Elon Musk to set up factories in Israel, which will be worth billions of dollars. And then all the people in Israel are protesting. They're going to be furious because Netanyahu is succeeding and the right wing is succeeding. And the right wing and the religious to which I belong, the right wing, we are the majority. But these people are, every election, they are less and less and less. And they are more frantically trying to hold on to power. That's what it's all about. And so, and the judges in the Supreme Court are all appointed by fellow judges. So the judges are not even elected by the people. I travel around America all the time, and I see all these elections taking place, and this judge is running for this district and that. At least you have democratic process. Not in Israel. The judges in Israel are all communists. They're all a part of a team that was established 75 years ago by communists and socialists who created the state of Israel. And people like me, who are good old-time American, people, the believers in democracy and republicanism, we are pushed out. And the reason I've been speaking in churches in America for 33 years is because these communist socialists fired me from my job illegally, and I can't get a job in Israel. So luckily, there's an airline called El Al, which goes back and forth. And I travel 2 or 3 times a year to America, to Canada, to Europe, to give lectures, because I cannot get a job in Israel, at least until the Judeo-Christian Bible Bloc Party comes to power. And so that's what I'm working for. I'm 74. I don't know how long I'm going to live. But if God gives me to live till 120 like Moses, I'm going to be fighting to my last breath to get this Judeo-Christian party into power and to give Christians representation in our parliament and our Congress.
That's why it's important, folks, to go to biblicalalliance.com, biblicalalliance.com, and support Avi. Buy books, DVDs, book him to speak. If you're one of those churches that's brave enough to address the real issues, there's some of you out there, then book him to speak as well. I saw a Facebook post today, and yet another ministry with, the goals of creating followers and subscribers. I care nothing about any of that. I'm just doing my job, telling the truth, and that's it. If you unfollow, you unfollow. At least I warned you. But, there's a scripture talking about the watchman on the wall. If the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people not be warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. And, folks, there's a lot of watchmen in America. You need to be warning the people because there's a penalty if you don't. And I don't know what some of you are thinking. Did you learn anything since the last pandemic? I don't think so. I hope so, but I see a lot of people trying to get back to normal, and they haven't, and they won't. There is not a new normal. This is an attack on freedoms all over the globe, coordinated by a Nazi, Klaus Schwab, and the World Economic Forum. It came out a couple of weeks ago, Avi, that they're the ones behind the LGBTQ agenda because of its depopulation factor. If you cut off your bloodline, then you won't have babies. And folks, a lot of people are learning that the hard way. They're shocked to learn that. It was a money thing. It was an agenda thing, a depopulation thing. Just as a lot of women are being shocked, Avi, that the women's lib wasn't started by a woman. It was started by the Rockefellers to double the tax code in America. They'll tell you that. But they didn't tell you that then. All that to say is there's no free lunch. And anything that you're told is free, someone else is working for. It's all one big socialist, communist lie to enslave every man, woman, and child. And, your blue hair professor who's never held a regular job probably knows that very well, but doesn't care. Marx calls people like that useful idiots. They're usually the first thrown from the buildings, those same ones that advocated for communism in the universities that just got degrees for a living. And they have an axe to grind, and they'll like to bully your kids. Not all of them, but I met some of them when I was a professor too. So all that to say is the world seems to be on fire, Avi, but we know that God is in control. And that scripture from Ezekiel 33:6, the watchman on the wall, if you want to be a voice and you want to be a minister, then you need to be faithful to warn the people. As a watchman on the wall, warn them of this onslaught of socialism and communism and depopulation and just pure evil. Warn them. Over in America, we have all kinds of people who want to be prophets with their 6 costume changes and pretty pictures, but they don't want to be salt and two. They want to be apostles, but they don't want to build tents like Paul. It's time for true watchmen on the wall. And so all that to say is you have put it all on the line all these years, Avi. You continue to, and so do I. And I admire you for that. I can only imagine what's going through Netanyahu's mind as he has seen one clown after another, except for President Trump, the only president you can name, folks, that's not related. Did you know that? And what did he do? He declared Jerusalem as the American embassy in Israel. So you know what? It says a lot. It says a lot. Numbers don't lie. History doesn't lie. Accusations from liars lie. But what can we expect, if anything, from this united front against Israel yet again? Led by those who, Iran was were they not pointed the head of the humanitarian effort with the UN? Yet they're one of the greatest, perpetrators of evil against humanity. I mean, what can we expect, if anything? How should we pray, Avi?
Well, firstly, if you believe like I believe, and I know you believe like I believe, that God is in control.
Right.
And God is going to take care of all those who have injurious plans for Jews and Christians. God's going to take care of them. But the problem here is ignorance. And Jews and Christians are equally ignorant about what's really going on. Hosea 4 verse 6 says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And then it says, because you rejected the knowledge, I will reject you as my nation of priests. And so if Jews and Christians want to be God's priests, they've got to be knowledgeable. And that's my work. My work is not to tell you how to believe and how to pray. My job is to give you information which you process on your own, and you come to hopefully the right conclusions.
Well, there you go. Be in the know. There's a good place to go to be in the know. It's the scriptures. It's the Bible. Go to biblicalalliance.com and learn more about that, how you can stand and how you can pray. And our prayers are with Netanyahu. I'm amazed that he has been able to escape assassination all these years, among the just flat out demonic socialist communist regime that he's been fighting. I'm amazed at that. Netanyahu himself is a warrior. I believe he lost his brother.
He lost his brother in Entebbe, Uganda, on July 4th, 1976, trying to release Jewish hostages from an Air France flight who were kidnapped by the Palestinians and were going to be imminently assassinated by Palestinian terrorists. And the Israelis sent in an Air Force team of commandos, and Yoni Netanyahu got killed there. But he helped to save all those people. No one else died except for Yoni Netanyahu, the brother of Benjamin.
Peace in our time.
I'll be your teacher.
Well, hey, man, maybe you can send me some stamps. I'll learn. Well, peace in our time. The Biden administration, destroyed the Abraham Accords for a while. My friend was there sitting with the Egyptian leaders when Biden wanted to make the Palestinian Authority one of the players in the Abraham Accord. They're not a country, folks. Biden wanted to make Hamas one of the players in the Abraham Middle East Peace Accord. They're not a country either. So, folks, those who complain the most, they don't want a solution. They just want the money because they're evil and they're corrupt. But in a world where you have evil and corrupt leaders, God is still in control. and you know
Amen.
where to go, and you can trust his word. And Avi, we can trust you. I'm grateful for you. Thank you once again for just joining us. We love you. Our prayers are with you. Folks, go to biblicalalliance.com. Support Avi today. And until next time, Avi, as goes Israel, so goes the world.
Yes, sir.